Hey everyone, so I'm here at just outside of Baltimore, and today we're going to be checking out Hampton National Historic Site. This was a Georgian plantation back in the day. The national park site is, I don't know, 100 acres or something like that. It's not huge, but apparently back in the day it would have been hundreds of square miles owned by this plantation. And so this is the main house that I'm going to be taking a tour of a little bit later, but I'm going to go check out the grounds right now. So I'm right in front of the house still, and out in front of the house was the Great Lawn, which almost like the South Lawn at the White House. And just in the background you can see across the street through those trees where the indentured servants and slave quarters would have been. So one of the cool features of Hampton was this building behind me, which was called the Orangery, and it allowed them in the wintertime to be able to grow fruit trees like oranges, and which of course are not native to Maryland, but they were able to grow them here in basically a giant greenhouse that they grew trees in. And so the windows would open up, so they could open it up in the summertime and close it so it'd catch all the the daytime sunlight in the winter. And looks like it's used as more of a kind of a conference hall now by the Park Service, but back in the days this was a greenhouse for trees. So another feature of Hampton was the ice pit. This mound in the background there. Underneath that is a conical pit, and in the winter they would fill it with ice, and then during the summer they would take the ice out and make ice cream and stuff, which back then was a real treat to have ice cream in the summer. And this is the gate that, with the stairs going down to the pit that they would retrieve the ice out of. And so these buildings would have been where the servants worked out of and lived out of. There's only a few of them left, like workshops and smokehouses, and then you can see right here is an octagonal foundation from what would have been one of the old outbuildings. And of course that's the house right there. I'm about to head down to the gardens and check those out. But there's a tree on the back side of the property, on the back side of the house, that is just absolutely massive. And it's not tall necessarily, but like it's wider than it is tall at ground level. Like there are branches resting on the ground. I'm not exactly sure what kind of tree it is, but it's got to be like at least 80 feet across at the bottom. It's almost cylindrical shaped. It's weird. So I'm in the gardens, and the Ridgeleys really like to show off their wealth. So of course, you got to have European style gardens. And there's 2 levels. They had all the crops and the orangery and stuff, but this was just for show. All the flowers. So now I'm entering the family cemetery, and the plantation was run by a family called the Ridgeleys, and there was, I think, like 5 or 6 generations of Ridgeleys that operated it. And this is the family cemetery where all those generations of Ridgeleys are buried. There's the family vault. And there's a few stones. Look over here. And the big cross is Howard Ridgely, which I believe was one of the plantation masters. And apparently the cemetery is still in use by the family, by the Ridgely family. There's one over here, Dorothy Ridgely, with and she died in 2012, so that was pretty recently. We got a 2018 and 2017. So yeah, very recently that the family has been using this. I'm gonna head back up to the house now, but you can probably hear in the background all that traffic. And I believe that's 695, if I remember correctly. That goes around the city of Baltimore. So we're like right on the, right next to the freeway. But yeah, the cemetery is pretty neat. I love these gates. And there's a pet cemetery here somewhere, and I guess the cemetery for the servants and the slaves that work the plantation, but they're not exactly sure where those are. Alright, so it's time for the tour, so I'm going to go inside now and take a look around. It'll only be the first floor. They're not allowing visitors up to the second floor yet, so. So now I'm next to some of the historic greenhouses. They're all in ruins. Like they're not even, I don't think they're even usable. They have no glass on the roofs or anything. But they're pretty neat looking. Hell of ruins, so this is pretty neat. Alright, so that'll wrap up this visit for Hampton National Historic Site near Baltimore, Maryland. I hope you liked it. If you do, hit the like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.